Hey everyone, today we're going to talk about something we all face at some point, right? What do you do when your life takes a turn you absolutely did not plan for? We're going to explore how to handle those unexpected detours, drawing on some really powerful ideas that suggest maybe, just maybe, those detours are actually the path. So, let's dive in. I mean, who hasn't felt this? We've all been there. That moment, it could be quiet disappointment or loud frustration, when you just look around at your life and think, wow, this is really not how I saw this going. And that feeling, that's our starting point today. It's where this whole conversation really kicks off. It could be a career that hit a dead end, a relationship that fell apart, or just this long, frustrating season of waiting. These things can feel like massive failures. But here's the big question we're going to dig into today. What if they aren't wrong turns? What if they're actually crucial parts of a bigger story that we just can't see yet? That's the huge shift in thinking we're going to talk about. Okay, so here's how we're going to break this down. We've got 4 parts. First up, we'll talk about the big picture with the unseen plan. Then we'll get practical with finding stillness amidst chaos. After that, we're going to tackle that internal battle in from fear to faith. And finally, we'll see how it all comes together with the heart of obedience. All right, let's jump right into part 1, the unseen plan. This is all about changing our whole perspective on the tough stuff, learning to see purpose where we used to just see problems. And a perfect example of this, really the heart of this whole idea, is the story of Joseph. His life is just this incredible metaphor. It shows us that sometimes the road to where you're meant to be goes straight through the places you'd never ever choose to go. Okay, take a look at this. This is not your typical success story, right? It's not this nice, clean, upward line. He starts out as the favorite son, full of promise, and then, boom, he's in a pit. Then he's a slave. Then he's in prison. I mean, from the outside looking in, his life is a total wreck. But here's the mind-blowing part. Every single one of those awful things was actually getting him ready. It was all part of the journey to the palace. And this quote, wow, it just sums it all up. After decades of hardship, this is what he says. He's not pretending bad things didn't happen. He's saying, yeah, you meant to hurt me, but a higher power flipped the script. He saw that the very events designed to crush him were actually the ones that lifted him up and put him in a position to save so many people. So what does this all mean for us? Well, the big idea here is that tough times don't mean God has checked out. The source material tells us his view is way bigger than ours, that even the steps that hurt are part of the plan, and that he can turn anything around for good. So a trial isn't a sign you've been abandoned. It might just be the setup for seeing how faithful he really is. Okay, so that's a huge perspective shift. But let's be real. How do you actually do that when everything around you is spinning out of control? Well, that leads us right into our second part, finding stillness. And this is the absolute foundation of trust. And this idea, be still and know that I am God, it's not just some nice, calming thought. It's presented as like a command. But it's also an invitation. It's a call to just stop. Stop the frantic hustle, stop the worrying, and intentionally change where you're putting your attention. And we need to be really clear here. Stillness isn't about being lazy or just doing nothing. No, it's an active choice. It's you intentionally deciding to quiet your mind, hand over your burdens, and stop trying to control everything. It's literally choosing to stop striving and just start trusting. And here's the cool part, the promise that comes with it. Stillness is like opening a door. When you make that space for God, when you quiet yourself down, the promise is that he'll meet you there. And it's in those quiet moments that all the fear and noise start to fade, and you can actually hear what you need to hear. So that leads us perfectly into our third section, from fear to faith. Because, being still is one thing, but then you have to actually face down the fear and anxiety that's been running the show. It's a real battle. So look at this comparison. It's so clear. On one side, you have the spirit of fear, and the source material is very clear. This is not from God. It just leads to panic, torment, worry. But on the other side, you have God's spirit, which gives you power, love, and a sound mind, clear thinking. The whole game is learning to tell the difference between those two voices in your head. So how do you actually fight that battle? Well, there's a really practical 3-step path. Step 1. Instead of just sitting in your anxiety, you turn it into prayer. You actively give it away. Step 2. You mix in thanksgiving. You start thanking God for what's good, even in the middle of the mess. And the results? It's like this incredible 1-2 punch that brings a peace that literally guards your heart and mind. And this is the why behind it all. Why is that peace even possible? Because God's fundamental attitude towards you isn't anger or disappointment, it's just generous love. This quote says it gives him great happiness to give you the kingdom. I mean, thinking about it that way, that changes everything, doesn't it? It changes how you come to him with your fears. All right, so this brings us to our final and honestly most important section, the heart of obedience. Because it's great to have the right perspective, to practice being still, and to choose faith. But there's one more piece to the puzzle. You've got to put it all into action. Yep, this is where the rubber meets the road. It's just not enough to listen to all these good ideas and nod your head. Faith has to have feet. The source material is super clear on this. If you just hear it but don't do it, you're actually just fooling yourself. But we need to get this right. We have to redefine what obedience even means. This isn't about being a robot, blindly following rules to try and earn brownie points or get God to love you. No, it's the other way around. It's a response to love. You obey because you already know you belong, and you want your life to line up with that reality. It's not a transaction, it's a relationship. So what does that actually look like day to day? It's not always some big heroic act. Most of the time, obedience is just a series of small choices. It's choosing forgiveness when everything in you wants to hold on to that grudge. It's choosing to pray instead of letting your thoughts spiral out of control. And maybe the hardest one, it's choosing to trust when you absolutely do not have all the answers. And this right here, this is the verse that kind of wraps it all up in a bow. It's about trusting his plan more than your own understanding. It's about letting go of the need to figure it all out yourself. And the promise attached is huge. When you acknowledge him in your life, he'll make your path straight. So that's really the bottom line. You don't need the whole roadmap. Our part, your part, is just to trust, to keep taking the next step with him, holding on to what he said, even when you have no idea where you're going to end up, especially then. So as we wrap this up, I want to leave you with this one question to chew on. Just think about your life right now, after everything we've just talked about. Where specifically is your trust being tested today? Because whatever just popped in your head, that place right there, that's your starting line. That's where this journey from fear to faith really begins for you. Thanks for spending this time with us.